This is the Washington Times front page for Labor Day, Monday, September 4th, 2023. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Labor unions from Detroit to Hollywood are flexing their muscles in ways they haven't in decades and are suddenly gaining the upper hand after years of waning membership and influence. Jeff Murdoch reports labor drives at iconic companies such as Starbucks and Amazon, the Biden administration's pro-union stance, and polls showing increased public support for unions have ignited a spark of optimism after decades of eroding influence. Union leaders say they've turned a corner. In addition to Starbucks and Amazon, workers at Trader Joe's, REI, Uber, and Lyft have unionized in the past year. What could reverse the momentum are dwindling union membership, workers' opposition to organizing at sites across the country, and a potential economic downturn. Michelle Obama's name keeps surfacing on the wish list of some Democrats as an alternative to President Biden in 2024. Dave Boyer reports some anxious Democrats keep returning to the notion of the former First Lady, who was generally more popular among Democrats than her husband during their 8 years in the White House. Polls consistently showed that at least half of Democratic voters don't want Biden to run for a second term, and at 80, he's already the oldest president in American history. Even if Biden drops out of the race, no consensus has emerged on his replacement. Democrats have even less support for potential alternatives such as California Governor Gavin Newsom, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. U.S. officials and drug makers are starting to promote new vaccines for RSV in hopes that seniors will accept the shots along with flu and COVID-19 vaccines to keep their lungs and hospital rooms clear this fall. Tom Howell reports federal officials recommend the RSV vaccines for people 60 and older under a shared clinical decision-making framework. That means patients and doctors should discuss the vaccine instead of treating it as an automatic recommendation. Medical experts say older patients, particularly those with heart and lung issues, will be prime candidates for the 3 shots designed to protect against those diseases. Drug maker GlaxoSmithKline is running ads to promote the first vaccine for RSV, a virus that commonly infects infants but can be deadly in older people, especially those with underlying health conditions. Pfizer won approval for its RSV vaccine weeks after GlaxoSmithKline, and both versions will debut this fall. Americans are shrugging off home exercise and racing to the gym as they move on from the pandemic with a heavy focus on basic strength training. Older adults are also joining the fitness frenzy, Tom Howell reports. In response, gyms are reshaping their programming, adding pickleball and other activities. That shift has coincided with a boom in the fitness industry. Visits to gyms and health clubs were up 30.3% in January of this year compared with January of last year, according to Placer.ai. Foot traffic in gyms was also up 7.8% in May compared with the same month last year, indicating that fitness is continuing to build on last year's strong traffic, the company said. And finally, despite international concern about religious intolerance in Pakistan, lawmakers there have moved to strengthen blasphemy laws against Islam. Andrew Salmon reports religious intolerance is severe in Pakistan. In its 2022 report, the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom pointed to extremism and problematic laws in the majority Muslim country. The Pakistani constitution establishes Islam as the official state religion and requires all legal provisions to be consistent with it. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.